Hello everybody and welcome back to the weekly English shooting live stream. Thank you all so much for joining. Of course, as always, it's the standard format. Get involved, have your voices, opinions heard. If you have any questions, any topics that you want to bring up during the stream, please use that chat box and I'll try to get through to every question as soon as possible. So a bit of a break. It's been a hectic few weeks to say the least, which is why we haven't streamed. So the first stream missed while I was out in Germany, and that was yeah, that was stressful. I'll get onto that obviously a little bit in a sec. And then last week, a combination of being still very tired, very busy, and also very ill. I know I can hear all of your violins in the background. Of course, don't forget to like this stream if you're watching and you're not liking. Why are you watching? So hit that like button. It's free. It takes a split second, and if you're not already, then hit that subscribe button. The majority of people that watch this stream and even watch this channel aren't subscribed. I don't know why you guys keep on seeming to keep coming back if you're not without being subscribed. So just hit that subscribe button, because liking, subscribing, it does make a huge difference to you. You've all had a fantastic 2-3 weeks gone by. It's certainly been busy, eventful, interesting, fun, stressful, tiring, and everything you can imagine for myself, with the main thing being IWA, the Outdoor Classics show, something that I've heard about for years, something that has been on my bucket list for years to go and attend, and not only managed to have the opportunity to go and attend it, but we're also sort of similarly exhibiting there as well. So we had a little bit of space on the iWholesale stand to display some of our magload wares, and we went around and did some magloading. We did some English shooting and general just mouth on the floor. So there's lots of videos to come. I think I've forgotten about half the videos that we actually filmed. They've already started coming out. So the main one, the one that I wanted to get out first, which if you haven't seen, go and check it out. Let me see if I can remember how to use this streaming software. It's been a while. So something that was certainly being talked about quite a bit was the new CZ. So the CZ Scorpion Evo 3. Am I screen? I've forgotten how this. Yeah, there we are. I'm down in the bottom. I'm still there. You can still see my beautiful face. So CZ is making a 2.2 semi-auto version of their Evo 3. Of course, you can go and watch this full video on the CZ stand. Let's skip it a little bit. So a UK legal version of this gun, and I know so many people have already been like so excited about the thought of this. Unfortunately, during the day, CZ didn't actually know what um like who brings these into the UK and where and if you're going to be able to get them. But I've since had it confirmed that it's Sportsman Gun Centre that brings in CZ for the UK. It's been confirmed that they are going to be bringing these in. There's a number of gun shops, I think, already taking pre-orders for these. So if you want a genuine, this isn't a clone. This is designed, manufactured, made by CZ. So if you want a genuine CZ Scorpion, albeit in semi-auto 2.2, then you're going to be able to get hold of it. And I think my wonderful friends over at Cotswold Classic Arms did actually send over. Let's see if I can just bring up his message. I'm not going to share it, but I think I've also had confirmed prices. It looks about 1,400. Let's just round it to 1,400. So it looks like this is going to be £1,400 in this configuration. I know a lot of people are going to look at this as a bit of a plinker, a bit of a fun, as a bit of fun, but this is a serious CZ, right? It's got all the same functionality apart from the fun switch of the CZ Scorpion. It's from the CZ factory. This isn't like the Humarex clones that we've seen in the past that are glorified airsoft guns. Like this is through and through. And actually, the rep was saying, I can't remember how much I remembered to get into the video, but he's saying there's actually a huge amount of cross compatibility between the 9mm version and the 2.2, saying there's a lot that is identical. There are identical parts between both. And actually, one of the main differences between the 2.2 and the 9mm version is actually the inner springs and the tuning of the gun. So again, this is just harks on about how similar this thing is going to be or is to the real thing, the big 9mm brother. And then again, apologies if you watch this video. So I sort of do this whole thing talking about the gun in front of the camera, and then the sales rep goes, "Have you seen our configurator screen?" And I'm like, "No." So he takes us over to the configurator, and whilst we won't have the configurator option in the UK, everything that I show on this screen will be available. Sportsmen will be able to buy in all of these aftermarket accessory, or when I say aftermarket, all of these genuine CZ upgrade components, again, which are cross-compatible between the 2.2 and the 9mm version. So enlarged magazine releases, upgraded triggers, or just all sorts in different colors. And yeah, really exciting. Not only is this option coming to the UK, I don't know what I'm holding there. You can use your own imagination. But yeah, not only is this gun coming to the UK, but it's coming with all the options straight out of the gate. So I think this might be one of the highlights of the show that comes out of it in terms of a UK perspective. The other video that's come out, I think only last night, was Double Alpha. So of course, I'm a practical shooter through and through, and Double Alpha is a name that if you're into your practical shooting, you're going to know inside and out. And they are renowned for their holsters and their magazine pouches. And I actually got to talk with Saul, who is the founder and owner of Double Alpha, to go through all of their new products. So if you're interested, I won't go into so much detail because you either like practical or you don't, and a lot of this will probably be meaningless. But we cover things like their new Flex. Where is it? I saw a little highlight screen of it. Their new Flex holster, which is like a universal holster for pretty much any gun. There's the whole new cerakoting and hydrographic services that they offer, so you can have all these funky designs, pretty much any Cerakote color. And then there's the new Max holster, available now in 1911, 2011. Their Lynx belt sort of took the market by storm. A lot of people very, very happy with, and quite a different take on a practical shooting belt. And now they've added their ratchet system to it, which again people have been wanting for a long time. So lots of new stuff from Double Alpha, but wait, there's more. So I thought the best way to sort of go through the highlights and give a little bit of a breakdown, because obviously we haven't had a stream since, and this is, if you can't tell, it's like super, super exciting for me. Big bucket list. And I just want to say, it's like everyone says, right? Everyone warns you and says IWA is huge. And it's not like I didn't believe them, but the scale, you know, if you've been to the British Shooting Show, if you've been to the Northern Shooting Show, like just the sheer amount of stands, the amount of halls. So there was something like, in terms of numbers, um, they had up to like hall 9, but then you had like sub halls. So it was like there was hall 3A, hall 3, and hall C, and then there was hall 4A, and I think 4B. And so I didn't actually sit down. I still haven't had time to really catch up on sleep and just general life. So I haven't had a chance to actually sit down and label how many halls there are, but there's probably around 10 or 12. And each one of these halls is like the size of the British Shooting Show, with as many stands in it. So like let that sink in. And the British Shooting Show we normally do over 3 days, and IWA is over 4. So you've got something that's in like orders of magnitude larger than the British Shooting Show, and you only have an extra day to do it. So our feet were done by the end of it, to say the least. And the real shame of it was that even on the last day, even walking down aisles we had already walked down like a dozen times, we were still spotting stands and stalls and products that was like, oh my god, we need to talk about this, and just like didn't have the time or capacity. So yeah, it's really yeah, sort of baptism of fire going there for the first time. It is a trade only. So I would love to be able to say like, go out there and do it. Go and experience it yourself and go and get tickets. But it is trade only. So I think you need some sort of trade connection. Either you've been invited by a trade stand, you're in the press, or you're within the industry. It's in a way a little bit of a shame that it's harder for the public to be able to go in, or technically impossible for the public to go in and experience it. But in terms of actually making videos and conducting business, it made it so much nicer. So, I mean, we were still fending off people to not walk in front of the camera, but it was just a whole different attitude. Whereas, at the British Shooting Show, you try to ask somebody something. So, it's maybe a little bit different on the big distributors, because they're not really selling anything. They're there to just show off what they distribute. But the smaller stands, the more retail stands, if you go and pull one of their guys to film a 15-20 minute video, well, that's 15-20 minutes that they can't be selling, they can't be interacting with the retail customers. So they're very loath to do that. It's a lot harder. Whereas with a trade dedicated show, you don't have to worry about that. Like, it's literally banned from any transactions taking place. So they're purely focused on either talking to people in the trade to, again, sort of show off their wares, or talk to the media. So in terms, people are much more up for doing videos, and we found there's definitely going to be a lot coming out of it in regards of magload. 100%, no doubt about it. There were some big conversations had across many different avenues, and many different matters. So yeah, we haven't even begun to sort of scrape away at the iceberg that was generated from that. But anyway, more about guns. So I generally think the best way to um, show you guys the sort of highlights is to actually go through the highlights of the Insta stories. So the easiest way for me to document why we were there is through Insta stories, but this is hopefully going to refresh my memory, and we can talk a little bit about each one. So the Laugo Arms Alien, there was some new updates. Of course, this isn't a big news for us, right? Because we can't actually own these. But the backstory to this, and we did film a video with them because in terms of pistol design, this thing is awesome. Like, there's nothing like it. I don't think there's ever been anything like it, and I don't think there's ever going to be anything like it going forward. This really is a unique, innovative design. And yeah, whilst we can't have handguns here, you can still appreciate what's gone into it. And I did almost, I talk about it in the video, did almost get to shoot one of these out in Pan America, and due to logistic reasons wasn't able to. So there'll be a video coming out on the Alien or the new model, which I've now forgotten. But anyway, that will be coming to the channel. What have we got next? Um, just being tarty and posy, really. B&T, the rack of stuff. I don't think I actually got a photo of it, but the rack of the guns that they had there, it's just pure gun porn. Like, all of their stuff just felt just super high end. Um, of course, like, there's been one of these on the channel. No, I didn't get to film a video with this, so I'd have loved to have taken it to a local range and tried it, but it's a Smith & Wesson 500. You don't get to see those every day. So this, I can't actually remember what stand this was, but a Damascus revolver, absolutely insane there. Ground powder, it's nice to see the 9mm Strybog rather than just the 2.2 version. And of course, I don't know if this is the highlight. A lot of people, I did have the absolute amazing privilege of meeting, what do you call him? Like, of course, you know, like, do you call him Jerry, Mr. Michalak, Jerry Michalak, or just or Mr. God? Like, so did actually meet him out at the Swedish Rifle Weld shoot. But obviously he's there on the Mossberg stand. Yes, I know a lot of people did point out the sign behind. I still don't know what that's meant to say. But yeah, super nice guy. Like, bearing in mind, he was probably there shaking shaking the hands of and talking to God knows how many people, and yet every person he spoke to, he was engaged with. Like Paul more than anybody else, the little bastard. Where he was, you know, Paul's a young up and coming shooter. He's you know, I think Jerry sort of connected with that and was like, you know, really, you know, what are you doing? What's your pathway? Like, you know, and was really encouraging to him. We spoke a little bit about, you know, practical and what we do in the UK and how we're limited and things like that. And I think even Connor's managed to crack a smile. I do have photographic evidence, but for him, I won't release that. And also, as a bonus, managed to get a signed autograph from Jerry Michalak, personalized, which will be signed, which will be put up on the wall, framed. No doubt about it. Bull Armory, superb competition pistols. Nothing new. Didn't do a video, but it's just a cool gun. So just photo with a cool gun. This was different. I have to say, this is the only shooting show that I've been around where it was pretty much actively encouraged for you to be walking around with a beer. Um, so they were giving out beer left, right, and center. So you could buy a beer at lunch. I think this was a lunchtime beer, but they actually had IWA branded beer, which I keep forgetting to bring home because I should be putting one behind me here on my wall of live stream. But yeah, IWA German branded beer, which I think is a little bit cool. So I wholesales, unfortunately, not a real minigun. It is an airsoft minigun, but it is still pretty cool. The noise it made was Just absolutely fantastic. Yes, finally, for those that have been watching the stream for a few weeks now, or at least a few weeks, if not a few months, you all know my giddiness with this case, and finally actually managed to get hold of one and play around with it. And although this, I don't think is actually the case. No, this is the Pelly Storm case. So inserts for the Pelly Storm case, but they did have the full Magpul Dakar case. Yes, there is a full video coming out of from that very, very soon. Connors initially wasn't very impressed, and that's what sort of the video is about, is me being like, this is the most awesome thing in the world, and Connors being like, it's a case, mate, why are you so excited? So we'll see, we'll see if we manage to convince him as we go through. Hands down, without doubt, the coolest patch of IWA. We were fortunate enough for all four of us, so Arian, Paul, Connors, and myself, to be able to beg to get one. Seriously, the guys. So I'm talking to them about the case, and I'm like, "Yeah, so I heard you got patches," and the guy just sort of, oh, fuck, like these patch whores, and I'm like, please, please. And Arian he wasn't with us the first time. It was it was during the case that I managed to get Arian's, but yeah, the first time we went there to sort of talk about the about doing a video on the case, managed to get three. But obviously, Arian was, Arian couldn't be left out. So when we were doing the video, I asked another guy, and both times, both guys had the same reaction. It was like, "Give me a minute." Look, goes rummaging through a through a cupboard, finds them. But I don't know how you top that as a patch. Just absolutely awesome. So that now has pride of place in the office on my patch wall. A big one, and a real big one. So again, very practical themed, but if you don't know that by now, why are you still here? The new, well, I say the new. This is so new, it's actually a prototype. So there will be, it's a prototype, but a very, very progressed prototype. So a little bit of backstory of why this is so important, and there is going to be a full video. So we did stop, film a full video. We talked to a lot of, we spent a lot of time talking. I think he was the head of R&D, or maybe head of engineering for Armsan. We talked to them. We talked to the buyers, well, the guys at so it's Highland Outdoors that bring these in. We talked to them, and we were like, you absolutely need to bring this gun in. There's going to be more on that. We might have magload exclusivity for this gun, but nothing's firmed yet. We just want this to come into the country. So the whole hype about this is that within practical and practical shotgun, open guns, like, I actively recommend people not to go into open division, because you either need to go and spend thousands of pounds. Like, if you want something that literally out of the box is going to work and be ready for competition, you're looking like a dissident, right? You're looking 4, 5, 6,000 pounds for something that is reasonably reliable and has all the controls in the right place for competition. Yes, people will say, what about the Typhoon? Yes, the Typhoon will work for all of about 30 seconds. Anybody that shoots a Typhoon competitively has a spare gun at all times, right? It's just, they don't have the quality. The UTAS, and what's the new one that people have been going on about? Is it the Derriere? That, like, the only other competitor to okay, there's the Vepr and the Sega, but again, they have the reliability, but they need, well, a Dissident Arms is effectively a tricked out Vepr. So the Vepr isn't ready to go into a competition. So you either end up having to buy a gun like a Vepr or a Sega, and having it pimped out to the 9, which costs a lot. It's hard to get those guns at points, and it's just a lot of palaver. The other option that has been emerging on the scene is the Armsan RSS1. But again, whilst it's a reasonable price, I think you can pick them up for like £800. They're not ready for competition, so you've got to put a lot of work into it. Not a lot of people know what to do and how to do it, so you're limiting down your options of where you can go to have that work done. And what Armsan have done, seemingly not asked by anyone, they've just seemingly got their finger on the pulse, is they've taken the RSS1 and they've done everything that would need doing to it to be able to go into a competition. And they've done it well. So the left-hand charger, right? The left-hand charger, very, very important, done, standard, enlarged, right? They haven't put like a pissy little like cast little no, they've put an enlarged charging handle on it. Flared magwell, but not just a flared magwell, it's easily removable so that you can put different flares on it, different sizes, different shapes to suit you. You've got a new fore end so that you can actually mount things to it that you're going to need. You can put a red dot straight on it, on the Picatinny roll. Okay, we're onto the Brownells change roll, patch roll. So obviously not a lot of photos that I decided to put up here. I think enlarged, is it enlarged release? I think an enlarged safety. On the other hand, there were other tweak. So I think the way that the top cover comes off has changed to allow to enable you to be able to mount your sight correctly and easily strip it down. It's just, it's probably best that Connor's you wait for the video, because Connor's actually talks a lot more about it, because Connor's is usually the one that does all of these modifications to these guns to get them competition ready. But he was like, he picked it up, spent 30 seconds looking around to it, and goes, there's literally nothing to do to this gun. And because it's a factory Armsan, I don't think it's necessarily going to be 800 quid, but it's probably going to hit the market at like, I would say tops maybe 12, 1300, which for an open gun out of the box, ready to go into competition, that is reliable. And that's the key thing. The RSS1 is super, super reliable. It's like win-win-win. Like there's literally nothing out there. People saying the Tigris, Tigris XR12. Yes, that's what I was thinking of, not the Derriere, it was the Tigris. A mixed bag completely. There were a few people out there that go, yeah, I've had a Tigris, it's absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, they've literally gone put 25 rounds through it down at butt zero. I've not seen one really at a serious level in competition being run successfully, to say the least. So yeah, the Armsan is just, it's like we're talking to the guy, right? And we're like, who told you to do this? And he was like, well, no one. We're like, but how did you know to do all of this stuff? And he's like, well, I just looked at what people were doing, and I just looked at box feds in competition, and I went out there and I actually went and shot the gun myself and worked out what I didn't like about it, but also I delved into why people were making changes to their other, not just changes to the Armsan, but changes to changes to all box fed. And he said, I just sort of took all of that away, and put that into into our Armsan. And we were like, bravo. Like not even Beretta or Benelli has been able to, okay, this is still technically a prototype, but they're not going to change it. Like they've done it, right? That this is it. So print and repeat, right? Or control C, control V, or control V, control C, whatever. Copy paste. Even Beretta and Benelli, right, fail to listen to the practical community repeatedly. A lot of people will probably remember our disappointment with the Beretta 1301 Comp Pro, which we were promised a better, bigger loading port, exactly the same as the Comp. We were promised, oh, you know, the proper kickoff system to mitigate recoil. No, they just put a spring in it that made the gun incredibly snappy. You know, or enhanced rubber gripping, which meant that you now can't load because your hand sticks to the underside of the gun. And like they literally just like everything people said that they wanted, they went, nah, they're obviously wrong, and then did pretty much the complete reverse. Like even the Benelli speed, the Benelli speed is you know, the Nova speed and M2 speed, closest gun to being really out of the box competition ready, but still not. It still needs tweaking. Connors has already taken files to his Nova speed. Right, let's carry on through the highlights. Patch trading wall, absolutely love this idea. So on the Brownells stand, they had this patch wall, which you can see representing there, English shooting patch, where you literally went up and you stuck a load of patches to the wall, and then for every patch that you put up there, you could take a patch down. Now, I didn't necessarily, because I actually ended up putting quite a lot of mag load and English shooting patches up there. So I didn't take it one for one, but all of the nice ones that I saw there, I took. But then what they do is when you get down to one patch, they cordon this area off. And I guess somewhere in Brownells, there is now going to be their patch wall of like unique patches from IWA 2023, which I think is such a cool idea. We may have to steal that for the magload stand. Oh yes. Just touching on that, I think we had already decided Wednesday. So in terms of the just ridiculousness of kicking IWA off, so we flew out early Wednesday morning. I mean, like it was like a 5 o'clock in the morning early flight, and of course, flying out of somewhere like Gatwick, you've got to get there 2 hours beforehand. And we sort of were doing the maths a couple of days before. We were like, "There's literally no point us going to sleep. I'm a night owl as it is, so if I try to go to bed early because I've got to be up and at silly early, I'm just not going to sleep." So we still had a lot of stuff to do in terms of prep for the stand to take out. So yeah, didn't sleep for 48 hours, which was a great way to start off the largest shooting show I've ever been to. um, over 4 days, the longest, the biggest and the longest. So yeah, the Tuesday. So yeah, went into work Tuesday, did a normal day, then popped home for a bit, grabbed my stuff, went back to the office, left the office I think at about 2 o'clock in the morning to get to Gatwick. We ended up arriving in Nuremberg. So we flew into Munich, had to drive to Nuremberg, got to Nuremberg about midday, I think it was, about 12, 1 o'clock. And then it's set up. So we go straight into, well, I say straight into the hall. There was some issue with our passes, but we got that resolved, thankfully. Got into the hall, helped finish building the stand, set out our stand, by which time it's like 7 o'clock, time to go and get some food. And then we all just crashed back at the Airbnb. But on that Wednesday, whilst we were like the Walking Dead, we managed to go round and have a look and really take in what we were opening ourselves in for. And I think, like, Connors and I just looked at each other and we were like, we have to be here next year, like in a proper stand. By the end of Thursday, it was absolutely sealed. Like, we have to have our own stand here. It's imperative that we're representing the company here and that we're out here again. We were just having so many like amazing conversations on so many different levels with people purely because we were there. And we didn't even have the people that were like dropping on to the stand. We didn't have that sort of natural. We were going out there and talking. So having a stand there ourselves is just going to open up even more conversations and really allow us to showcase what we do. So we so I think it was on the Friday or the Saturday, we signed up for next year. So we will have a full stand next year at IWA, which I'm going to steal the patch wall idea. So yeah, it's just for the business, it's just an absolute no-brainer for us to be there. Sam Davison, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Let's have a look. Hey, did you know you are in a YouTube multi-part mini documentary called The Origin of Airsoft? Your clips are near the beginning and also towards the end. The clips are you doing action air. The origin of... No, I did not. Let me the origin of airsoft. Oh wow. So who's this? You're gonna... I'm guessing it's this one. Origin of everything eventually. Share this tab instead. But yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention, and thank you very much for supporting the channel, Sam. Let's see if we can have a flick through and find... skip. I don't know. This is I have to say I have not seen this, but you say your clips are near the beginning and also towards the end. In terms of the beginning, as in terms of the first episode, or the beginning of the first episode? Let me... Casplova. Maybe I'll flick to the next one, but it's a whole series. My ego is permanently stroked, Arian. That's why you never see below the below my chest. Trust me, you don't want to see it. Oh, 19. Oh, so it is just doing the full history of airsoft. I just want to make sure they used actually a good clip. I could spend... I'm not gonna, but interesting. I'll check that out. Part 4. It's part 4. Part 4. You said it 3 times. Thank you. Let's... Oh, there we go. Oh, it looked like the British shooting show. Oh, so that's Clarence from Airsoft Surgeon, and then I think it was at the Airsoft Surgeon match. That is that. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily my best match, if I'm gonna be honest. I think that was one of my first action air matches. Cool. That's glad to know that they asked for permission for that. But no, it's Creative Commons on YouTube, and I don't care as long as people are sharing the sport. Like, more power to you. Frankly, he should strip for that amount of money that he donated. Make it another 10, and we'll see what happens. I don't start taking my clothes off for anything less than 20 quid. Just going to put that out there. I do have standards. Dancing will require more. I'll quite happily sit here without a top on, but you want me to dance, you want me to entertain you, that's another thing. Black Guinea Pig, we are a go for the 20th. Have sent you an email. Awesome, thank you very much. We should hopefully be able to share the lovely Vickers collection. We will be talking about a little bit more about that. Daniel, check Guinea's comments. He is a cheap date. I just checked his comments. Give me a chance, man. Shall I? I haven't finished going through the highlights of IWA yet. We'll go through what you guys are saying in a sec, I promise. Let's carry on. So we're at the petrol. But yeah, just to finish off again, we will be at the at IWA as Magload full stand next year, which would be absolutely amazing. So back onto it. Love that idea. Day 2 done. Yes, he was. I can confirm. And we went to Milsim. So this was something that I was exposed to, for better or for worse. So basically, a load of Milsim participants and basically the Milsim community that is at IWA do this thing called Meal The way it was explained to me is that there was a unique patch. I haven't made it big. There we go. Make myself small there. Does that mean you didn't see the full unhappy Connor's face? There we go. You got to see the full one. But no, that I think no, that is his unhappy face because he was hungry. Um, but yeah, basically, I was promised that there would be a unique, interesting patch, and then I was in. Oh, and food, and a patch. That's the way you get me. So yeah, we went to. I can't remember what the place was called, but it was great food, absolutely awesome, and yeah, I got really stuffed and I got a free patch. Connor's that is his happy face because we actually bumped into Johnny Carter of TGS. So you bumped into all sorts of people out there, and yeah, literally saw him for all of 5 seconds, and that was it. Like, just managed to cross paths and grab a selfie. Oh yeah, Fight Light. This is not that I think any of this is going to come necessarily to the UK, but just very interesting. Um, like, am I right in saying that these would be Californian compliant? And then yes, all kinds of yes, and oh yes. So yes, there's some really interesting stuff. 300. It's a 300 blackout uh sawn off or doorstop, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't know why, but I want one. um, and then a belt fed. Like, can't really say no to a belt fed if I'm going to be honest. Talking about meeting other sort of like British YouTubers, managed to meet David from the shooting channel. Super nice guy, and whilst he's obviously very into like the clay and game, super passionate. We've spoken loads of times, we've met up loads of times. I've actually been to Oxford shooting school a good few times now, and he's super passionate about growing the sport and introducing people into it. So, I know it, and he gets that about what we do with English shooting as well. So whilst we're sort of like different ends of the community, I think there's some good mutual respect there for what each other are doing. And I used to like watch all of his videos religiously when I was getting into the sport, and I was learning like how to shoot from like basic principles. I was always watching his stuff, and really good. It's like really super channel if you want to learn more, certainly about clay and game shooting. But yeah, bumped into him and had a little bit of a catch up. Yeah, why not? You are at a shooting show, so your dog needs to be adequately protected. And oh my god, there's a little treat in a minute. Yeah, this is the side of Korth that I think maybe people don't appreciate or aren't aware of. So Korth has recently come to the UK, and is available through Firing Solutions and Cotswold Classic Arms. And a lot of people are looking up there, myself included, I will admit. Oh my god, 5,000-6,000 for a revolver? Are you mad? And then when you see like actually this is the sort of thing that they're able to do, like super high end craftsmanship. Obviously this is very much at the top end of what they do. Um, but yeah, the level of craftsmanship that is going into their guns is just like another level when you certainly when you see stuff like this. It's just like, I mean, not very practical, if I'm gonna be completely honest. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in my life. And of course, Korth and Nighthawk Custom sort of have a partnership of some degree. So there was the Nighthawk Custom, and oh my god, are these guns slick! Just absolute butter in the hands, brand new out of the factory, like absolutely unbelievable. It's so annoying we can't have handguns here in the UK because I would definitely have one of those. And yeah, this, I think I'm right in saying, I think this is what Otto wants to do with the Korth here in the UK at some point, to be able to have all of these different options. It's just a cool, this is a cool display piece. Again, I wish we could display our guns. This, so maybe a little bit of a sneak peek. So I believe Otto is in talks with them to bring this to the UK, and there's no reason it can't be. A 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum Korth. And I kept saying to Otto, right, I said, so they do a 460. So if they can do a 460, why can't they do a 500? And he's going, well, actually the 460 is more, has more energy. Like it is like a more powerful round. He said, so if you're going for power, then you want the 460 to be able to have that sort of flex. I was like, no, 500 bigger than 460. Like it's just, the 500 just has something about it. It's the largest, you know, is it the largest manufactured handgun caliber? But everyone know, you say Smith & Wesson 500, like, you know what you're talking. Like yeah, you've got the 5, what is it? The 5.8, 5.8, no, the 4.84 Casual or whatever it is. You know, that's a pretty stonking round. You know, you look at it like the Desert Eagle, right? You say to somebody, I've shot a Desert Eagle. And then they go, oh, wow, the 50. And they go, nah, the 45. It's always a disappointment. So I was like, why not the 500? He's like, no, I'll bring in the 460. So I was like, cool, still might be interested. And then I ended up speaking to the Korth people. And I said, why can't you bring in a 500? They said, well, why would you bring in a 500? The 460 is a more powerful round. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't have 500 on the side of it. And they were like, okay, we get it. Yeah, there's no reason we can't. Oh, okay. So I have said in no uncertain terms to Otto, whilst I still can't wrap my head around myself spending £5,000-6,000 on a revolver, if there's a UK legal Smith & Wesson 500 LBR available, that might be a different story. I will surgically extract one of my kidneys for it. That is a promise. I will sell my firstborn child to have. And the thing is, I'm sure there would be ones that followed, but there would only be one to begin with. You imagine having the only UK legal Smith & Wesson 500 caliber revolver. Like that's definitely worth your firstborn child, right? And or just, I shouldn't be allowed to have kids, trading them for guns. So, but yes, I believe it's a pretty dead cert that the 460 is coming to the UK, and I will ask Otto very, very, very nicely for me to borrow it, and have a little go. Yeah, just some of the stuff you see walking around. I mean, I'm jealous of the dogs. I would have loved to have been dragged around on wheels for the entirety of IWA. And it was cool to actually meet. Obviously, we're in the caddy business, the quad loader business, and a name that's also quite big out there within quad loading is King Competition, run by, I think, the previous world champion Kimmy, or Kim Leppenham. And it was good to sort of, you know, Connors has met him a few times, so they sort of caught up, and I was able to be introduced. And this was an interesting little gadget from them called their Pine Shot. I just liked it because it fit bottles of Jägermeister. Don't judge me, but it's more. This is more for the hunting and also tactical, not necessarily practical market out there. We went and saw Shield sites. You know, a lot of people that we know and meet regularly, and I just couldn't resist when I saw that. I was like, that's awesome. I need to try and take a site picture with it. I believe that's actually every version of site that they make on there, just so you can get a side by side comparison. And then that is it. That is IWA done. And that was the stand. Paul managed to steal it. The stand number that we were on. And that is us leaving very, very tired unable to function, and we still haven't recovered. So there's my little synopsis. I say little, I've been going at it for like 50 minutes, but it's been a couple of weeks, all right. But yeah, my little synopsis of IWA. Whew. Let's have a look at the comment section and see what you have been talking about. Before we do, so just a bit of backstory. Black Guinea Pig very kindly invited us down to the Vickers machine gun collection. We've been trying to arrange a date for us to go down there and film and talk to, I think it was Richard, about the collection, the legalities around it, but why they have the collection, what's in the collection, the historical significance of everything, and really show the history of what they have there. And yeah, I've said before, I'm not a huge history buff, but people, like Black Guinea Pig and also Richard, are massive history buffs, so they'll be able to sort of educate us and hopefully produce a very informative, interesting video for you guys. But also on that, the Vickers Machine Gun Club. Let me just bring up screen sharing again. Could do with your support. So whilst I am also always incredibly grateful for the support of this channel, if you did fancy supporting another cause, which arguably could be more important because this is about preserving the history of firearms here within the UK, and I will put this link in the chat now, so you can. Oh, silly bloody Facebook links. Here we go. So if you want to learn more about this, read more about that, or go and actually support it, then follow that link that I've just put into chat. So they've got these different, it depends what's more important to you. But if let's click on one and read a little bit more about it. And you can see it looks like you can support anything from £1 to £100 or any multiple of £100 if you really, or any multiples of £1. But you can. Why is it taking so long? So support the association to build its reference collection and share a new safe use guide. Thanks to 10 donors for supporting us so far. You've contributed £300 to a 500 bowl. We now have 200 left to raise by March 25th, so please get involved. Description: we are expanding the reference collection and the association's display capabilities. We're seeking funds for specific projects. So what's the specific project of the I guess this is to protect and display the sterling, but basically hugely significant, historically significant, like firearm. So if you do want to go and support something like this and learn more about the Vickers machine gun collection and what these guys do, then go and check out that link and yeah, go and help them. We need to preserve our history, and the Vickers guys, they're not scared of showing it off. I'm sure many of you have seen the machine gun shoots down at Bisley, where they let loose with them, and they actually, it's not like this is a closeted small sort of collection that they hide away for the chosen few. They take them out and they demonstrate them, and there's a whole club. This is, I'm probably butchering this left, right, and center, and Black Guinea Pig is going, what the fuck are you talking about? And this is why I'm going to go down and learn more about it. But basically, people, you can join this club, the Vickers Machine Gun Association, something like that. Again, more people pulling their hair out. You can join it and get involved in the restoration and protection of these machines, and also shooting them. So yeah, we're going to learn more about it, learn more about the project. We'll learn about the history and the guns, and how also potentially you can get involved if you want to later down the line. But in the meantime, these projects do cost money, so if you want to support them, follow that link. And it's not a club. but there's people, but you said there's people that get together and shoot them regularly. Is that not a club? Association. It's an association. We'll learn more when we go down there. Um, if you sustain the sterling, we buy a live sterling. Well, there's Vickers MG Collection and Research Association. The collection holds a Section 5 RFD. So the Research Association. So I guess you can, if you wanted to, be a part of the Research Association and get involved, maybe. But anyway, you do demonstrate it, and you very kindly invited me down there, for lack of better judgment. You just like, Callum, don't touch anything. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Like guinea pigs out going, what have I done? No, I will be on my best behavior. Connors, on the other hand, no, we will respect the opportunity that we've been given, and we're going to do our best to show them off. But yes, the guns are shot both live and blank. So there we go. Is it the one near Swindon? I live here and had no idea about it. Black guinea pig, take it away. But this is why we're going down. This is why we have excuse me. This is why we've arranged a day, so that I can learn more and share it, so that if anybody is interested, the right information is put out there. And I'm looking forward to it, because there's going to be some stuff that you don't get to see on a regular basis. But yeah, let's have a quick look through your comments. I've just seen your comment from the beginning of the stream, Black Guinea Pig. If it's on the, it was on my notes, right? It was on my notes. If it's on my notes, it gets talked about. Like, you know, give me a chance. That CZ Scorpion looks like a dream for Magload. I can see lots of possibility for 3D printed parts. Yes, I think the thing is, where there's obviously the 9mm version as well. We wanted to do this with the Tyrannus, just haven't had the time, which is probably going to be the same for the CZ. But anyway, I need to chain Connors to the desk so that we can get more products out of him. Yeah, the CZ, it would be good because it's a bigger international market, not just at the 2.2 semi. We can develop and do a lot for it, and it's a much bigger market, so it makes it worth doing for us. And I just want one in. It's the same reason that we've got the Tyrannus, Strybog Tyrannus, because it's just cool, interesting, something a little different, and also, you know, the possibilities of making parts for it. Hurren 007. Good to meet you and Connors on Tuesday by pure luck. So yes, we will be talking about why we managed to bump in. But thanks for joining the stream as always. We were at Wadswick. I'll show you a few photos in a moment. And we were just sort of walking around, and yeah, Mr. Hurren 007 just sort of wait, you're. I was like, you know, why are you here? It's like, and it's literally the first time we've ever been to this place, and apparently it's his like local gun shop. So it was really nice to bump into somebody that watches the streams and watches the channel so regularly. And I always say, like, if we do happen to be in your local gun shop or see us out and about, like, grab us, come and say hello, say hi. We always like to interact and talk to people that follow and support the channel. Well, I might as well talk a little bit about that now, as a little bit of a segue. Daniel, a heads up, I plan to RFD transfer my Trek 22 this weekend to you. Awesome. I'll try and get that on the review table to show it off and talk about it. So where was I going with that? Yes, the Wadswick. So went down to Wadswick Country Store, and we were invited by somebody that will be potentially familiar for some of you on the channel. And that is Stuart Knight, who actually works in the gun room at Wadswick, and he invited us down. He's like, we've got this cool simulator, it's a cool gun room, like, come and visit us and have a look. And we we're like, cool, really appreciate the invitation. So like headed down there, and we were not expecting this, right? We seriously, it's it's not your typical country store. I'm just gonna say that for starters. Absolutely amazing place, really super high quality, high end. Yeah, yes, it is more of a sort of game and clay country store. The practical was definitely not represented, but the whole place was done to a superb standard. There's going to be a full video on it. This is really well, probably like not even 10 or 15% of the gun room. Um, and there's some really cool features about it, like their little, you can just see in the corner, bottom corner here, their little hatch, which you'll see in the full video, just absolutely amazing. But full line of any sort of clay or game gun you're likely to want, and a few semi-autos and rifles as well. And this is Stuart introducing us to the marksman simulator, which I've never had the opportunity to have a go on. So it was great to try that out. Super system. Didn't well. I think with the right with the right time and coaching, it would make me a better shooter. But uh, maybe I'm just too far gone on the clay and game. But yeah, brilliant system, and we spent I think a couple of hours in there, sort of learning, going through all the different going through everything, and it was actually a really good. I don't know yet how much I'm going to sort of put this in the video, because it's a really like positive video, like showing off this amazing place, and having a bit of fun on the simulator, and walking around this gun room. Really nice. But one of the topics that just came up instantly was lead. And I've said before, like, I'm not an expert on the subject. Like, I mainly critique the handling of this whole debacle, but actually talking to somebody that really is within that realm, and understands it, and the impact that it's going to have on that side of the market, was really fascinating. But also, what was incredibly interesting is with the simulator, you were able to take, so you can simulate clays, but you can also simulate game. Anything, partridge, grouse, pheasant, pigeon, whatever you, rabbit, whatever you fancied, at any distance, at any sort of incoming, outgoing, whatever. Um, and what we were able to do is, shoot a bird using a simulated lead cartridge, and then change it to if it was steel. And the performance differences were incredible. So there was like one shot, I think it was like a 40-meter bird, and you know it was a good shot. I had 100%. No, there was one. It was a closer bird. Basically, I had 100% chance of killing it with a lead cartridge. But if you change that to the steel, it then became like an 80% chance of wounding it and 20% chance of missing it. Exactly the same, shot placement, same bird, same environment. Just changing the cartridge from lead to steel would mean that you were pretty much guaranteed to wound the bird, or technically miss it at best. And then when we started getting into these higher birds, where it's a challenge, and even with a really good lead cartridge, it was like a 50% chance of a clean kill, 50% chance of a wound. Obviously, these aren't real. This is all simulated. It's all within the computer. And then when you put that through to steel, it was like, you had like a 40% chance of wounding it and a 60% chance of missing it. You were literally like sort of pissing in the wind using steel cartridges. And there's a lot of debate and speculation and a lot of opinion around this whole lead and steel debate. But what was incredibly fascinating was actually having those inarguable numbers in front of you, and being able to go for this exact same shot that I've taken. What are the difference between steel and lead? So it's incredibly insightful for myself actually seeing that. And I'd recommend anybody visits Wadswick Country Store for a day out, or just even like a few hours, because it's one of those very rare places where you can actually take your other half. So I showed a few pictures to Holly, and I was like, this is the sort of place I think you would actually be quite happy to go and have a look around, because there's like a bit of a home store, there's clothes, there's a lovely cafe, and there's a gun room and a simulator. So it's like we could just go there. You can I'll buy you a candle. Um, Go and get some lunch, and like go for an hour in the simulator. Well, why not? So yeah, I think I would recommend it, but also if you want to learn more about the science of shooting, going into a high end simulator like what they have at Wadsworth is incredibly. It does sort of recalibrate your mind, and you can play around with not even just different cartridges, but also different chokes. You get a really good understanding of what chokes do very quickly and very cheaply within a simulated environment. So I highly recommend doing that. And, really sort of, it was the tip of the iceberg for what I think you could extract out of a simulator. But it's definitely something that should be considered as part of your own training or maybe own shooting progression. So yeah, had some time on the simulator. This was their sort of standard shooting, and then they had some. Yeah, so the way the simulator works is it looks big and bulky, but they dangle that off the barrel, and then that fixes to the trigger. But generally, didn't notice it was there. It was like super light and really not like really didn't interfere. And then they had the high shooting. So this is like a 45-degree sloped wall, um, and you could do, I think they could simulate up to 50-meter birds. Really, really fascinating. And, we got to shoot birds that you'd most likely usually have to go and spend thousands of pounds to have the opportunity to simulate it. So yeah, I think it's £60 for an hour in the simulator. And I think that's based on three people going. So go there with a couple of friends, go for lunch in the cafe, and also check out their simulator, their cafe. Amazing views, like super high, just high end place to go and spend a day. And it's also a full on country store. So anything country you need, from your tack to a new gilet to wellies, whatever, they've got it there. Yeah, it's just an amazing place. And you zoom in, I think you can just make me and Stuart out. And yes, I managed to fly the drone safely for once. But yeah, so yeah, cafe here, gun room is out the back there, and they've got all the stores. So anything country like they will have there. So that's what we spent Tuesday doing. And yeah, I didn't even really know the place was there. Unfortunately, it is like a couple of hours away from us, but I will be back 100%. Really nice place. Um, no step on sneck. Um, there's an Australian guy who beat a bunch of semi-auto shooters with an old Lee Enfield at Desert Brutality a couple of years back. It proves that just having a nice gun won't make you a champion. Not always. Won't Having a nice gun will never make you a champion. Um, the majority of performance within competitive shooting comes from the shooter. Yes, there are going to be exceptions to that. If your scopes off, or your barrels smoothbord or whatever, yeah. But certainly within practical, and this is, people really do fixate when they get into practical shooting, like, oh, I have to go and spend £1,800 on this Benelli M2 tricked out race gun. And we're like, how many competitions have you entered? None. Seriously, save your money, go buy an M3K, and 3,000 cartridges, right? And just go into competition. Um, so much more can be extracted from the shooter at those points than just having a much nicer gun. Black Guinea Pig, Desert Eagles aren't chambered in 45, 357, 40, aren't chambered in and 50 AE. What? Those revolvers will fit nicely in my nan's living room. Why, does your nan have a collection of Korths? What a lady. Smith& Wesson 500, the official gun of overcompensation. And Desert Eagles aren't chambered in 45, 357. Did I say 45? I meant 44. I meant 44 Magnum. Good luck getting the ammo for the 50. But that's the thing, if it's brought in by Otto, like, he'll bring in the gun. So, David, get to SHOT Show 2024. Yes, as well as signing up. Well, we haven't signed up for SHOT Show, but as well as signing up for having a stand at IWA, Connors and I have agreed that 100% we will be going to SHOT Show next year. We are, well, if we have the opportunity, we'll do exactly the same as what we did for IWA this year. But what we want to do is go there just ideally not exhibiting in any way, and get the lay of the land, right? Understand what, you hear all these stories, you see a lot of videos, but it is a load of money still to I mean, the stand alone is more than we've spent on any show previously for IWA, just to put things into. And when I say what we spend on a show, that's including the stand, accommodation, travel, ancillaries, food for the entire weekend. So it's a huge commitment. But it's sort of a necessity. We see it as a necessity. But now that we've been there, we've talked to other stands, we've watched a stand, we've been a part of building up a stand and tearing down a stand. We sort of have our feet a little bit. What we don't want to do is run straight into SHOT Show without doing the same, or going out there, talking to people, understanding the lay of the land, and learning sort of the ins and outs of SHOT Show first. So that's in 2024. We will be we have our own stand at IWA, and we will be attending as visitors for SHOT Show. But we will be out there. We're not missing it. And nobody, you talk to different people, you get different answers. Some people seem to say categorically that SHOT Show is bigger, much bigger than IWA. A lot of people seem to say that they're roughly about the same size, and then there's lots of people saying that IWA is bigger. And no one can really give us a straight answer. So we thought that really the only thing to do was for us to actually just go out there and decide for ourselves. So we will have to see. But yeah, SHOT Show 2024 again. It's been on the bucket list for a very, very long time. As an Oxfordshire resident, do I swallow my pride and head to Swindon to shoot a Vickers? Oh dear. Ian Price, was great to bump into you guys at the British Shooting Show. Apologies to Arian, as he freaked out when I called my A7 III and R3, and he thought I hadn't heard of a camera. Too many cameras. No, likewise, Ian. Great to meet you again. And say, if you see us at shows, bump into us, say hi, grab us. New number plate yet? Unfortunately not. That matter is ongoing. Submariner, I thought you had a Milgauss. I fortunately have both. So yes, the collection is expanding. It's sort of a funny story with that. The Submariner has a very chasing story. I won't get into the full ins and outs, but for those that are that know their watches and know what's happened over the last few years, you know that it's almost impossible to be able to get one, unless you're willing to uh, wait a very, very long time. And but yeah, basically was able to get that. Basically walked in. It was around my birthday. I was with Holly. Walked into a shop, and it was there. Oh no, it wasn't there. So we're up in London for my birthday, and it's a classic piece, absolutely classic piece. I think it's got to be in every sort of collection, um, if you're into your watches. And yeah, we're up there. I think that this was my 30th birthday. So we're up in London for my 30th. A couple of nights there, restaurant, whatever. And on the last day, Ollie's like, right, it's your birthday weekend. Is there anything that you want to do? We don't have any plans. Anything you want to do? I said, yeah, I want to go looking at watches. It's seriously just like one of my pastimes at this point. And we, of all places, we end up going into Harrods. If you're into your watches, you need to go to the Harrods watch room. It's on another planet. um Go in, start, we're having a look around, and of course everything's got the um you can't, basically you can only look, you can't touch, you can't buy. Guy comes up and he's like, is there anything you're particularly looking for? And I was like, well, yeah, a sub, but I've got more chance of getting hit by an asteroid by when I walk outside. And he's like, well, what, like, come and chat to me. We're like, oh, okay. So explain what, up there for my 30th. I had my Milgauss on, so I was talking about that. I think at that point I'd had the watch for like 5 or 6 years. And I would like daily wear that watch. It's a real, it's not a safe queen. And yeah, just got talking to the guy, and also talked, we'd recently moved with Magload as well. So we've moved into this new unit. And he was like, look, give me a number, like, hang around, you're not in a rush. Nope. Hang around, and I'll see what I can do. Literally 20 minutes later, managed to magic one out of thin air. Call me back to the shop, and I was able to buy it there and then. And absolutely insane. Like, I've heard stories of this in forums previously, and thought that's just make believe. Usually you're talking like, at the moment, like a 2 or 3 year waiting list. But I think he just sort of got that we were incredibly genuine. um and that, we're there celebrating my 30th. There's whole things going on with the business, and it I guess it resonated, and he happened to have one, and I managed to completely bypass the waiting list. So it's got a story. The Milgauss has all sorts of stories, especially a big deep scratch that I have on it that I managed to do. I think that was on some sort of machine gun, an army shoot. But anyway, I I've been accused of talking about watches far too much previously. But yeah, needless to say, whilst you don't necessarily budget for walking in and buying a Submariner, it's not something. That's what credit cards are for. It's like, you don't turn the opportunity down. Not the way that the watch market is at the moment. Um, so yes, very, very, very fortunate to be able to get that piece, and it's got a story, and it's now my like 30th birthday watch, which is just incredible. I can always like look back, and got a story to tell, and it signifies quite a significant part of my life, both business and personal. Black Guinea Pig is saying Desert Eagle only comes in 357 and 44 and 50. Yes. You could always visit Barbary Shooting School in Swindon if you want to smash some clays after a visit to Wadswick. 100%. We were actually at Barbary a few weeks ago. I keep on meaning to talk to Craig, the gunroom manager there, because we're actually talking about doing more practical there. There's actually a practical club at Barbary already that uses the sort of pit behind the gunroom, and basically they're going to be building some more ranges there, and what we're trying to do is get them to build some practical specific bays so that well, first of all, there's more practical training facilities available, but we've also discussed with them the possibility of putting on higher level practical matches. So Barbary and Barbary is a little closer. I think we can get to Barbary in just under an hour and a half. So we will be going back there, and actually we've talked about potentially making it more of doing like reviews are very hard for us to do. The range near to us don't allow filming, and we're going to have to travel. Bisley is an absolute nightmare to try and film at, and I'm not wasting my time with that again. So we need somewhere that we can regularly go and film like full on gun reviews, shooting them, comparing ammunition, all of this. So we will be, liaising with Barbary and hopefully shooting there more often and also filming there. So yes, well aware of Barbary. Barbary is as an equally amazing place. It's really up there with the likes of like EJ Churchill's. I mean, it's got a proper cafe in it as well and proper toilets, which is just mind blowing to any practical shooters out there. And the gun room's awesome as well. Not the same sort of size and scale as say Wadswick in terms of the shop, but the grounds that they have there for shooting and all the different types of shooting, absolutely amazing. Do they sell Land Rover Defenders? If not, it's not a real country shop. But I swear they had some tractors for sale, so maybe you can forgive them. If handguns were legal again, would you use a Glock or a 1911 for competition? It wouldn't be a 1911. I know that for certain, and it most likely wouldn't be a Glock. So I used to be a big Glock fanboy, but didn't. I honestly don't get on with them anymore. I've lost it. Maybe I've got more taste, but it depends what division that if handguns were legal and we're shooting IPSC handguns, it depends which division I shoot in would then dictate what gun I would shoot. So if I was shooting in production, I would probably be looking for something like a CZ Shadow 2, maybe even Laugo Arms Alien. If I wanted to shoot standard, then it would probably be like a 2011. I personally, I'd probably go down the production route. So I would be looking more, potentially even a Walther PPQ. Although again, I've actually seemed to prefer the likes of the CZ now. I don't know what's happening to me. And yeah, what other guns? Yeah, I think probably something I'd probably shoot production. I think I could do that with a Glock, but I think it's like CZ Shadow 2 or Walther PPQ would be my preferred option. 2011 1911 shooting classic doesn't interest me. I don't have enough funds for magazines, and so it wouldn't be a 1911, it would be a 2011 if I went for that. But yeah, I think most likely if it'd be CZ Shadow 2 for production. Did you pay over sticker for it? No, paid list. It was from an authorized authorized retailer. Callum, there's plenty of watch traders on YouTube. Nico, Spencer, etc. Actually watch Nico quite a lot. I watch Nico quite a lot for the entertainment value, but he's not actually my favorite watch guy because he does it. It's more there's a huge amount of education in his videos, but I used to watch Timepiece Gentleman quite a bit until you just realize that he was just a massive penis. And the only reason I tend to watch the Timepiece Gentleman was because of Marco, who they've now gone and done their new thing, but it's just it's not the same after what happened if you followed. And yeah, followed what happened with them. But the one that like I'll always watch, although they are trying to make it a little bit more entertainment rather than factual, is Roman Schraff. Like he's really like up there with, you know, he knows his stuff. They're one of the biggest in the game. You learn a huge amount, not just about the big Halo brands, but all of the smaller brands, lesser known brands as well. Yeah, and I really like his. You learn about every aspect of the watch world. Anyway, we're talking watches. But yeah, if you haven't watched Roman Sharaf, then I'd recommend. Who else? I swear. Oh, I've started watching. I can't remember his name, but his brand is Bark and Jack. I really like his videos as well. Very sort of, it was sort of like if I was to do watch videos, that's probably how I would do it. Um, but yeah, yeah, I like watching my videos. I've been on it. I've said loads of times I don't actually watch that much shooting YouTube. If I'm watching YouTube, it's to switch off. So I'm watching stuff about cars, watches, mainly just cars and watches. Very, very, and maybe a little bit of tech. Magload versus TGS video is a must at Barbary. It depends what. If it's just going to be a round of clays, Johnny's going to walk away with it, right? But if we can somehow balance it between, we need clay shooting. We'd need two shotgun, two rifle. So we do like running boar, we do clay pigeon, and then we do like a mini rifle and a practical shotgun. I don't know how you would get the scores. Maybe just whoever wins, but then we're just like, obviously Maglo's going to win the practical, he's going to win the others. We don't know. I'm sure there's something we could do. Luxury Bazaar. Yeah, so that's Roman Sharaf. You a man of culture, I see. Grand Caliber, that's it. That's where Marco went off to and created. Man, very, very impressed. Very impressed. Did you see the FN 510 at IWA? Nope. No, I didn't actually. I don't think we went over to the FN stand. Having handled air pistol versions of both, I can say with certainty I'd go with the 1911. It's a solid option. Come to pro shoot, not that far away. Talking of pro shoot, something very important. It's a shame that we haven't done a stream, because I've wanted to talk about this since it has been announced. So some of you may be aware that the pro shoot at Lambert shooting range is holding the Pro Shoot Extreme. Now, loads of people, and specifically on this channel and on these live streams, love to talk about the Finnish brutality and the brutality matches, and hard as hell and all of that. And I've seen the comments so many times. Wouldn't it be amazing if this came to the UK? Right? Well, it's here. This is a brutality match, right? This is a hard of hell right here within the UK. And I'm pretty sure, like, I think there's some like fitness requirements, but this isn't IPSC, this isn't an NRA, this is purely a pro shoot. So let's just double check what the criteria actually are. Scoring, timing, failure to complete a stage for general rules, competitors with a handicap. So I don't think there's actually all competitors must sign a waiver, release an indemnity agreement. So I don't think like so as far as I understand, you don't need a competition license. You don't need like you're going to need. Well, are you going to need an FAC? Because if you go to the sign up page, I'll actually put this in. Uh, I got it open earlier. Where is it? Oh, don't worry, I think I can put it in here. Let's see if this works. Post. There we go. So that might have popped through. I don't know if it has or not, but you should get a link. Yes, it looks like a link has come through. So looking at that link, so that will take you through to here. When you sign up, it says require club gun hire for a 2.2, require club gun hire for a 12 gauge shotgun. So I would double check. Oh, actually, is there sign up criteria here? I should have checked this before I went on. No, I genuinely think this is open to everyone. Competitor health, as the title suggests, this is an extremely challenging competition that is designed to push the competitors to their limit. I am fit enough to compete in this competition. So it's just a section declaration. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that pretty much anybody can enter this. So there's no excuse. If you've wanted to do a hard as hell, if you wanted to do a brutality in the UK, then do this, right? So Brian at ProShoot, he's really gone out of his way to put this on, right? A huge load of risk, right? Because nothing's been done like this before, like ever. And I think like we need something like this, right? It's something different. It's not something that's necessarily like hugely competitive. It's not part of the usual competition season. This is like an exhibition match. And if people don't go to the first one, then he's not going to put it on again, because you'll see the amount of effort that are going into these stages. So it's one whole weekend, and it sounds ridiculous, right? Whole weekend, 5 stages, and only 50 competitors. And I know there's a lot of people that have sort of gawped, it's 260 quid. What, but you've got free camping there. There's included, you've got your dinner and beers, after events, breakfast events, prize giving, etc. So like you've got your food, you've got your beers covered, you've got your camping covered, there's going to be a prize table. And when you start looking at the size of these stages, it's hard to get a scale. So within this book, so you can see these stage diagrams, and that looks potentially like a normal stage. And then you start to see like, so this right, I know it's all pixelated. It's still very hard to see where this is at, right? But in this stretch, so this is your stage confines, right? At the level 3 that ProShoot puts on, there's usually 2 stages here, right? There's usually a stage there and like another stage in there. There's usually a stage here, a stage here, and a stage there, right? So this one stage is using the same space that usually like 4 to 6 stages of their level 3s are in, right? That's the scale of this. It's like the physicality, and then you start to see like the stats. Time allowed 8 minutes. Even at a level 3 competition, probably even at a world shoot, an IPSC world shoot, you wouldn't be shooting for a total of 8 minutes through the 24 to 30 stages. Well, if you want to be competitive. This one stage, 25 bird shot, 10 buckshot, 10 slug, and 62.2 LR. That's one stage. yeah, let's go and have a look. So this one, right? So this is the same area, but instead they have like excavated a massive trench behind. So this is where like the burger van and car park normally is. So this is where the stages normally are. Um, they use this. This is a huge bit of land. You can't get an idea for the scale. Like this would probably take you 5-10 minutes to walk, and they've built a stage on it, right? And it's trench, it's water. You're going underneath stuff. So 6 minutes for this one. Oh yeah, distance approximately 300 meters. Okay, that shouldn't take you 10 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes to walk. Or would it walking? No, I don't know. Depends how slow you walk. But again, 40 bird shot throughout. What else? What else do we have? The V. Again, it looks like a relatively normal stage until you find that it's 600 meters long, 8 minutes, 16 bird shot, 42 and 5 full bore. So there'll be a full bore rifle on there. The tunnel. Oh yeah, that's right. He's building this entire network of tunnels. So you go in, go down, have to shoot some targets, go back, go in, go down, shoot some targets. So 100 meters, 4 minutes, 42, 2. One stage. The pyramids. So again, in this area, they had 2 stages here, 2 stages here, and 2 stages down here, right? So in this area at the level 3, they had 6 stages, and now he's got no, was it 6? Just trying to no, maybe it was one there. It was a big stage there, big stage there, and then 2 stages down here. So 4 stages. But you can see the like these these mounds, right? They're huge. Like these are the mounds that you can see in the videos of of pro shoot, right? 270 meters long, hugely physical. 270 meters, 5 minutes, 20 bird shot, 20 2 to 12R, and 6 full bore. Some absolutely incredible design that's going into this. Of course, we're incredibly proud to be supporting and sponsoring it as Magload. The really annoying thing about this, and it was just the way things ended up stacking up and working out, is that this is the weekend of my stag do. So absolutely gutted, and genuinely did consider sacking off what we were going to do for the stag do, and going and doing this instead. Uh, going and like literally camping on a Welsh mountain for a weekend, doing a hard as hell sort of brutality for the stag do. But flights are unfortunately booked, accommodations already booked, and it's still going to be a pretty hard as hell weekend as far as stag do's go, and I will leave it at that. But yeah, absolutely gutted. I'm not only just gutted that I can't go and experience it, because no doubt 100% I'd be there, I'd be taking part in it, but I'm annoyed that I can't show it, because what I kept saying to Brian was, you build this match, all you have to do is show it to people in the first year, and next year you'll be overbooked, right? When people see the lengths, and he's been telling me for months and months what sort of stages he has planned and what they're going to be like and the scale of them, and I was like, this has never been done in the UK. You will have people traveling from all over the world to do a competition like this. You just need to show them that first one. And annoyingly, all the people that I would normally contact to to go and film something other than myself are on the stag do. So I've really sort of inadvertently just screwed Brian, unfortunately, because I can't think. So just if you happen to know, we like I think I've got maybe a couple of options. Um, but if there is anybody out there, like, going to even like talk to Neil at Rack and Loads if he can get down there and film it. Maybe even Johnny at TGS. I think his fees might be too much at this point, but but yeah, I really think this needs to be covered. And if you fancy doing this match, go and get signed up. Go and drop them an email, and go and take part in it, or at the very least, go and have a look for yourself. It's open for spectators. There is a spectator fee, but I think you do get like food with that. Um, go and watch it. I think it's going to be an awesome weekend and an awesome match. I'm absolutely gutted that I can't be there, but if you want to do something like this, go and follow that link I put in the chat and sign up. So you don't. I think it's in a couple of weeks' time. Range 23. Yes, that is a very good option. I will drop Bob a message. Like, he should be doing the match, right? 100%. If he's not already signed up, that is. Can I see the competitors? View squadding. No, he's not signed up. So if he's not aware of it, but yeah, if you know of anybody as well that would be interested in doing a match like this, please let them know. Please share it. Um, the thing that's really gutting about it is because Pro Shoot has gone out there and continuously raised the bar for matches, for ranges should be things like they almost find it an insulting thought that a competitor should reset, right? Which is just completely the opposite to how it normally is, where you're getting shouted at for not resetting. It's part of the game, but it's just luxury to go to Pro Shoot and actually just focus on the competition. And once again, Brian's gone out there. He's put his neck out on the line to do something that's never been done before on a massive scale, and it's that sort of stuff that is going to progress shooting here in the UK, putting on bigger, better matches like that we've never seen before. And it just, we need more people to sign up for the match, more people to commit, because I want to do it next year. I want to do it next year, and I promise next year I won't book my fucking stag do the weekend of potentially one of the greatest matches we've ever seen here in the UK. It's gonna be up there with the likes of what you see of the brutality. So in whatever way, shape, or form you can support him, or support the match, then please do. Mr. E30, much appreciated again, as always, for the support on the channel. The Pepsi Fund, I have to be honest, I have neglected my duties with Connors, and there is actually no Pepsi at Magload at the moment. I know. I don't know how Connors is still alive, how I'm still alive, how the business is even functioning. But don't worry, first thing tomorrow I am going to Booker's. If you're watching, don't worry, we're gonna have supplies tomorrow, I promise. So yes, Mr. E30, that couldn't come any sooner. We will be putting that to very good use tomorrow at Booker's. Black Guinea Pig would love to do this next year if it's on the list. No snap on snake, just bring strippers with you. Daniel, the pro shoot could have done instead. What the pro shoot you could have done instead, and you'd be staying at my place, not the bloody mountainside. I'm hiring a gorilla costume for the trip. Oh dear God. Are they trying to recreate the shooting conditions of Stalingrad? I think there is some potential influence there. I know there's some electric fence. That's all I'm saying. Wish Northern Ireland would have long range shooting range for rimfire and centerfire rifles. Yeah, Northern Ireland. Well, it's a very politically motivated area, isn't it? It's I think that's why the range is a little bit more compact and out the way. Shame we all missed the match. I was planning on helping on the stages. Yeah, I. It does sound like, obviously what we're going, what we're doing for the stag instead. It's not, you know, that's why I'm still doing it, because it's like the ultimate stag. But when you think about it, like just a stag do, just I know you say like staying at yours, but pitching up some tents, like barbecue, beer, shooting an ridiculously physical match, um, like it does almost sound like the perfect like stag in that way. It's just I'm so annoyed that the way just think that timings worked out, it just ended up clashing. Paul, hey matey, great live stream, but have to say a member at our local gun club, has only just got his ticket after a staggering 12 months wait from staff's area. Well, I'm glad to hear he's got it. Unfortunately, 12 months at the moment in some areas is not ridiculous. I mean, it's all ridiculous. Anything over 3 months in my mind is ridiculous. But I guess, it's not getting any better, is it? But at least he's got it. The silver lining is at least it's got it. Oh, shall we get Brian to keep the stages up for a filmed, dramatized episode? Basically, you want to see me running through water, mud, and shit, don't you? That's so I would 100% be up for that. He keeps the stages up there, and we go back up. The issue is, it's the stag. I come back from the stag do on the Monday. It's the wedding on the Wednesday, and then I sort of then have to spend some time with my wife, or my wife to be. So it wouldn't be until around like the 11th or the 12th, well, probably the weekend of the 15th, which is going to be 2 weeks afterwards. So I don't know how much of the stages are going to be available, but that is definitely something that I can talk to Brian about and see if he would be up for doing. But 2 weeks is a long time. A lot of people talking about firearms licensing. We were going to talk about the Kean report that has been released. I will touch on it a little bit, but I think might actually just need to find the time and do a full video, because everything's now been released and we can really go through them. So yeah. Oh, that is the weekend we're at. Is that the weekend we're at Nizza? Yes. Need to put that in my calendar. Jesus. I told you guys I was busy. This is literally like, this is my life at the moment. So yeah, that it would have to be that. So we're out at the Nizza level 2 on the 15th. Come back, well, it's reasonably late on the 15th, and then drive up early on the Sunday. I'm gonna be shagged. You'll be married for the rest of your life. The stage will only be there for a short time. Yeah, but I guess start as you mean to go on. Yeah, yeah, yes, I do. Thank you very much. Love you. Yeah, I'm off to a match. It's just she's used to it. No, I can't do that to it. But yeah, that's a good point. Although it is the first level 3 shotgun match the week after that, the weekend after that. So going up to Pro Shoot to do some shooting would not be a bad idea as a bit of preparation. Yeah. So we'll see. I just at some point really need to catch up on sleep. This would be preferable before yeah, I just don't anymore. So just a quick bit of news, although I will be doing a full video on this. It's just evolved so much at each point, and now we've got everything I can now do it. But the full coroner's report, I think this was released on the 10th. So this has been released in relation to Kia. Now it's 38 pages. I'm not going to go necessarily through everything in fine detail, but there's various different segments, and this is the report regarding to training of firearms licensing decision makers. And you find out, from what I've understood with this bit, you find out a lot about what went wrong. So there's a lot to pick out. But the initial shotgun license application in 2017, given the absence of medical information, the known history of assaults, and the intelligence held by Devon and Cornwall police suggesting involvement in other violent episodes, it was a serious failure to protect the public and the peace to grant a license to the perpetrator. And then review of the license. The decision to return the shotgun and license to the perpetrator in July 2021 was fundamentally flawed, and as a result failed to protect the public and the peace. It just goes through all of the different failings. It was unreasonable to categorize the level of assault upon the boy in the skate park as battery. There was clear aggravating factors to suggest this should have been charged at a higher level, and there was inadequate investigation of whether the assault on the boy in the skate park had led to his unconsciousness. The use of the Pathfinder scheme in this instance was wholly inadequate in reducing the perpetrator's future offending. There was a serious failure at a national level by government, Home Office, and National College of Policing to implement the recommendation from Lord Cullen's report in 1996, arising out of the fatal shootings in Dunblane, to provide training for FEOs, and the subsequent recommendation in Her Majesty's Inspectorate of the Constabularies targeting the risk report in 2015. It just goes through. There's this seriously. I really need to sit down and unpick this. The training and informal mentoring was insufficient to enable the FEOs to safely discharge their duty. There was a catastrophic failure in the management of the firearm inquiry licensing unit. With lack of managerial supervision, there was a lack of scrutiny and professional courtesy at all levels. There was a seriously unsafe culture within the I'm just going to call it the firearm license. What do I normally F? Oh, I'm tired. Firearms licensing. Incompatible IT systems, both within Devon and Cornwall Police and outside the agency, contributed to a failure to communicate effectively. It's just like the death was caused by the fact the perpetrator had a lawfully held shotgun. The following contributed to this possession. There were serious failures by Devon and Cornwall Police in granting and later failing to revoke the perpetrator's shotgun certificate. In license, the perpetrator had a shotgun. There was a serious failure by Devon and Cornwall Police to protect the deceased. It's just like failure. It's not even just once or twice. But what this does is it goes through it goes through all of the times it's been recommended for increased and better training within firearms licensing departments. It's in 1996, in 2002, in 2013, in 2015, in 2019. It's like, how many more times do you need to be told to do something, right? With disastrous consequences when you don't. But it all breaks it down to this one: the report to the Lord Chief Justice regarding judicial training in firearms licensing. Um, and yeah, so within this, the reason it's going to be important to pick through is within this is basically what the coroner is suggesting changes. So this is what I've identified as the cause and the failings. This is what you need to do to fix them. So in terms of where this is going to go, what changes we are going to see, this coroner report is going to be pretty instrumental in guiding where things go. So we will be covering it in a lot more detail on the channel, but just something to be aware of. If you want the link to it, I actually got it off of Basque's website. So if you go onto Basque on news, I think you can even just Google it as well. But it might be worth reading. Basque has responded to it. It's a bit of a, they haven't really said anything new or different. Basque is clear that we need a system of licensing that protects public safety and also provides an efficient service. It's plain to see that the system was absent in Kiev with tragic consequences. It's previously wrote to them. It's wants this national regulator to monitor and manage. So yeah, Basque are coming at it from potentially a different angle. They're not necessarily disagreeing with the training angle, but they're also pushing like, well, no, if you need to monitor it, it's all well and good saying, oh, I just realized that is really small. Need to remember that. So so national regulator to monitor and manage both firearms licensing and the training of police staff and officers to improve standards. It's one thing to just have more training, right? But you need to make sure that this training is adequate and that the standards are being maintained, or this, when I say standards being maintained, that you get up to the minimum required standards to maintain public safety and then maintain them. So it's no good just having in legislation, oh yeah, an FEO a firearm inquiry officer needs to do training every 6 months. It's like, well, okay, they can go and do that, but what's the quality of the training? What should the training focus on? And what is there to make sure that the training is being, implemented, or the what people are learning is then being implemented. So you need this monitoring and assessment to back that up, to make sure that it is being effective. And then sort of at the end, they summarize, Basque will meet with government to assure that the views of the shooting community are represented and that the change something more important before that. However, whilst we are supportive of considered measures that improve public safety, we would warn against any recommendation to remove the distinction between the processes and requirements in relation to shotgun and firearm certificate holders. So this is something that Basque is being very, very hard on at the moment, which is like, no, we need to keep a shotgun certificate and a firearm certificate. If I'm going to be completely honest and level-headed on this, I think it's a losing battle that we're fighting, right? Because one of the things that I managed to pick out in the coroner's report is that the guy had a pistol-gripped pump action shotgun for clays. Like, first of all, like that's just sort of a little bit odd. Like, fine, like if that's what you really want to go and use, fine. But apparently he only had buckshot ammunition. So, there is a little bit of a flaw here within the firearms licensing, that in the sense of a shotgun certificate, where you get a shotgun certificate, you can then go and buy as many different shotguns as you want and as much ammunition. Now, there's nothing to say that he could have just gone and bought a couple of over and unders and the pump action and bought some birdshot and bought the buckshot. But it does seem to me like there was an opportunity. Okay, there was lots of opportunities missed. Like, I should have never had a license to begin with, and it should have never been given it back. But also the fact that, to me, one of the big warning signs that has come out of this current coroner's report about this whole thing was the fact that supposedly he wanted the shotgun certificate for clay pigeon shooting, and he goes and buys a pistol gripped pump action shotgun, and buckshot. Like, that doesn't add up, right? And why did like that just if if that's what they took away from him, right? If that's when they took away his licenses for the assault, which again should have should have just been enough to never give the licenses back in the first place. But when they went and seized his guns and ammunition and they found a load of buckshot and a pistol gripped pump action shotgun, surely someone asked the question there. Hang on a minute. This guy isn't your typical, we don't have many turkeys in Dorset, do we? Like, he's not going turkey shooting, and like, where's the wild boar? Like, why is this guy? And apparently he had a significant amount of ammunition. Now, that could be 100 rounds to most people, but if it turns out he had thousands of rounds of buckshot, like, what was going on there? So I think this is a losing battle, because it's going to be argued that if the shotgun certificate was more of a firearm certificate, like, okay, yes, he would have just gone and he was doing clays, he would have got what, oh, I don't know. Maybe they've got to me, sort of arguing for getting rid of the shotgun certificate, and making things even more harder. But I don't know. It's just, yeah. Would it have been the same if he had an over and under and bird shot? Yeah. Like, actually, did it matter that he had a pistol grip pump action shotgun and buckshot? No, I don't think that's even touched upon in terms of the coroner report, in terms of whether he believes that, the pump action had something to do with it, or the buck. No, I think it did mention that the buck was for sort of larger game, but yeah, it's odd. There's just in and amongst all of these massive warning flags, there was another warning flag just there. And it sounds wrong to say that, because, like, right, if someone wants to go and buy a pump action shotgun, a load of buckshot, like, as long as, as, like, who cares, right? It's when you give the certificate to obviously someone who's unhinged, and then they go and do something like that. It's like, it's odd, but I think we could very much be seeing like one certificate, and the way that they're going to keep it easy for game estates and game shooters to be able to get hold of their shotgun is that it's, if you want to go and shoot clays, you're going to have to join a clay club. If you want to shoot game, you just have to show adequate experience and knowledge to be out in the field with it. I don't know. Alexander Dale, this is why FEOs should be shooters. A non-shooter wouldn't even think of the different types of cartridges and the logical uses for them. A very, very good point. That question, Aaron T, is it true that FEOs don't use referees and think they are pointless? I have seen previously that some FEOs think that they are pointless. They do use them. So in my most recent application, okay, this is me, but in my most recent application, both of the references I gave were contacted immediately after my my interview. When I first applied, I don't believe my references ever were contacted, and this seems to be the case. Like, it's really 50-50 if your references are contacted or not. Some counties do, some counties don't. It really does depend. But of course, if they don't contact them, then they are just useless, aren't they? Soon to be another report about the awful circumstances at Epsom College, with reports of problems prior to the incidents. Yeah, there is sort of a little bit of similarity about it, but I mean, a minuscule, like, it is for all intents and purposes two very different incidences. Yeah, the problems that people have reported that went on before for Epsom are just not to the same degree as what happened at Keyham. Alexander Dale, horrific. Couldn't be more damning. Yeah, couldn't agree more. So yeah, I will spend some time to pick through all of that and hopefully present full video, because I think we're going to really see where things, not necessarily where things are going to head, but where we could see things head from this report. And I think there's going to be a lot to learn from the failings. There's going to be a lot more information within this report that we're not aware of, and it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. So we'll see how bad it can get. But on that note, guys, I am going to wrap it up there. It's been good to get back into the live stream swing of things and catch up about the last couple of weeks. It has been pretty awesome, but I am so tired. I know it's a hard life. Someone's got to do it, but I need some sleep. I need some sleep. So on that note, I'm going to go and get my sleep. Before you all go, hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. Like, seriously, it's free. You can join the channel. If you want to support the channel, then you can join the Only ES fans. And I've been talking with Ari, and there is going to be some stuff coming out on that soon. So we will see. So yeah, if you want to be privy to that, then make sure you have joined. But yes, we will be back. Don't believe there's any reason we shouldn't. Yep, tomorrow is actually next week is pretty free, which is good. That's what I need. So there will be a live stream next week. So it'll be same place, same time. Thanks everyone for joining. Hope you will have a fantastic week ahead. And of course,